this season, no top four is going to cost Arteta's job. You say that, I don't think it will. It should, but I don't think it will. You know, rightly or wrongly. And I like what Arteta is doing. Don't make mistakes, but we need top four. If we crumble, it's issues. But he signed a new deal, so it's almost, this season's almost a bit irrelevant, really. And it's the second year of this somewhat project, really, isn't it? We came fifth last year. If you come fifth again, they might say, you know what, compliment the squad. We might be able to do it in the third year next year, innit? So yeah, on a positive Eddie note, got to be the fastest has ever been before. Need to get him back sharp like he was in pre-season. Mitrovic or Tony are the targets. They're on small wages and probably would push through if a bid came. I'd probably pay a bit more for Tony, but Tony's about 50. Yeah, Eddie would do a lot, bro. You loan him out, but the problem is, I would love for Eddie to go on loan, but I don't care about none of that because we need bodies right now. Who else is playing? You got Balogun gone, Tyrese John Jules gone. Eddie has to stay and hold it, and Eddie knew this. Like, Eddie's not an idiot. He knew this. He backed himself. It's a long season. Do your thing. And Eddie might not become someone that can challenge Jesus, but he might become a reliable squad sort of player sort of thing. He might become a sort of Danny Welbeck sort of thing, really. And that's not what you want, but just carve a name, make a name for yourself, really. Arsenal fans, how many utility men do we hold in high regards that weren't regulars like that? So it's up to you. Fantastic talking points, people. Keep them flowing, man. DG, do you think our season is starting to unravel? I wouldn't say unravel, but a normalization of performance now. Like, obviously momentum has been high and we're still riding off the momentum. It feels like a loss to Southampton. We dropped 2 points from winning positions. But it's unrealistic and it's unsustainable to expect us to keep scoring 3-4 goals and keep mad clean sheets and things, because the signs have been there. You know, again, you look at the Leicester game, you look at the United game, you look at, to a degree, harsh, but the second half against Crystal Palace, you look at the goals and how we were defending against Leicester, you look at the penalty against Spurs, you look at some of the goals, the 2 goals we conceded against Liverpool, you look at, we came back and we showed our mentality, but on a large part, Fulham and Villa, you know, we're not all the way there yet. We still need to go up several gears defensively. We still need to be a bit more clinical. And these things were going to be there. We're on the right track. We're in the right direction, but we're not there now. Obviously, through a lack of squad depth, we probably had to play players more than we would like to. And you are seeing it physically. Like, we look spent in the second half against Southampton. That's why I was really concerned, really. We were slow to get back into our positions. You know, when you're tired and you're playing football, the first touch is unnecessarily baggy, things like that. So, again, we knew depth was an issue. We've been playing a dangerous game. We've somewhat still getting away with it. But, yeah, man, I do agree with you. Our last 4 performances, based on how we've been at the start, has been underwhelming or, under par, like you've said. But the luxury is, we've lived to fight another day, really, really, and truly. We was much better against United at Old Trafford than we was against Leeds. And we lost one, we won one. That is football. Sometimes you don't deserve anything. You get 3 points. Sometimes you're fortunate to get a point. Sometimes you play very well and get nothing, really. But sometimes, at some point throughout the season, there's going to be none of this, and we're going to see us for what we actually are. So, as I always say, don't let this, as much as I like the form, what the gaffer is doing and everything, don't let this form and where we are in the table in October, don't let it overrate and overstate the improvements that we've made and the improvements we're yet to make and are required to make, and actually the level of the squad. And I mean that as a no disrespect. I love the competition in the squad. I love the relationships building all over the field. There's so much to like, but there's so many gears to go up. And we need to get into that scenario where, again, if we just look at who we want to be like, historically, Liverpool, when they've been fighting City, and obviously City, a lot beyond the obvious, obviously, the things that we praise us for, you don't praise City for. You don't praise City for putting winning sequences, being good defensively, game management. You do, but it comes with it, really and truly. It comes with it. It comes with the territory. So we have been a bit flat. For me, assuming we're talking about the same 4 games, Leeds, Southampton, Glint, PSV, we weren't really asked any questions, but we had bare shots. Xhaka saved the day. We didn't really do much. So it is going to happen. There is going to be a part through the season where you're just going to have to slug it through. As I said earlier, to a degree, the premise about how good, not always at your best, how good are you at your worst? You look at City last year, 2-0 down against Villa. The main men weren't really kind of doing it. The subs had to go and do it. And there's been many a game like that. Really and truly. And that goes for if you want to win titles, get in the top 4, come out of the Championship into the Premier League, survive in the Premier League. This is what it's about. You're not going to be perfect for 38 games. Unless you're Arsenal Football Club where you don't lose one, innit? I had to plug the old days. I can see it in front of me, people. I've been slyly watching, I think the Invincibles thing is on Sky Sports. And just as I said that, they fast forward a year, Ronaldo shushing Highbury. Where you at now, Ronaldo, though, blood? Great player historically, but yeah, man, I hated when Cristiano, before Cristiano even became this lit, I used to hate when he played. You know, when he used to be a little crybaby and the original diver and have all his gelled hair and that. I used to hate when he played against us because you're a bloody good player then. So yeah, man, it is well, it is, man. Lokonga and Eddie, I think, especially when we're doing this youngster thing, what goes against us in general, people, if you're highly rated at 15, 16, look at Ethan, you know, the young man at Arsenal, because he made his debut at 15, people are going to expect you to be the bee's knees at 17, 18. It don't work like that. You know, you're not you're 16, you're not quite where people wanted you at 18. People look at you like you're a fraud and things. Look at Vinicius, people are onto him because he was getting rated in Brazil. Didn't happen for him like that initially at Real Madrid. Now he's one of the best players on the pitch. If you watch the game against Sevilla, sourcing Duns, Rodrigo's starting to show his levels. You know, very underrated in my opinion. Valverde, you know, Valverde for me can be the best midfielder, one of them in the world, and I think he is right now. You know, he's probably the best fullback, right winger, and centre mid to a degree in them tables, bro. Valverde's got it all, man. Engine, dynamism, passing range, lovely way to pass, can score goals, can win a ball back. Bro, I wish we had some of them man there, man. But yeah, that's what I would say, really and truly. Don't know where we was going with that. Yeah, to make that timestamp. Yeah, man. Oh, South Londoners. Here we go. Really want my fellow South London brother to come good. I honestly think Eddie is a championship player at best. I don't know, man. I like him as part of the squad. There might come a time where if you offer me a next striker to go with Jesus and, you know, if you offer me a striker, a winger to go with what we've got now, it's kind of peak for Eddie. You could still make it and have a role here, but unless Eddie improves significantly, which we have to give him scope to do, and obviously he needs to play, you're not going to get that game time, really and truly. It's like Saliba. Arteta threw the gauntlet down to you. You've taken your chances. If Saliba showed that, like, why he previously may have went on previous loans, he would be dropped out the team and on the bench, and we'd be saying he needs a run of games, but man need 3 points. Reality is, as much as we're doing this youngster thing, and when some are excelling, you're looking at others, we need 3 points. No one cares about what you're doing with the youngsters if you're not racking up wins. The first priority is to stay in a job. The best way Edu, Arteta, and these players can keep things going is by getting 3 points. That's what man are in training for week to week, really. You know, for Eddie, I guess you probably just got to do a bit extra in training, innit? Like, for me, it's become a thing now, just finish chances now, Eddie. I like that he's got a bit bigger. He's shown he can play out wide now to a degree. You know, he's actually shown, for me, you know, the little cute little... Against PSV, he had a couple Smith Rowe-esque sort of touches and that. He's shown he can get involved, but it's just about goals now, innit? And I know it's difficult, but whether you're playing 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a start, bagging it, give question marks, give Arteta a headache. Because for me, Jesus is up there, even with his lack of goals at the moment and question marks. You're down there, Eddie, and that's not a criticism. Jesus has been about. You've really been a squad sort of done, went Leeds, had little patches in the team, but last tail end of last season is where Eddie somewhat really announced himself to Arsenal fans, really. So he has to just keep going, man. Bit harsh to say Eddie needs to work harder, though, man. I think he puts a shift in. I don't rate man for putting in a shift, but puts a shift in. Man said Valverde earned my respect when he intentionally got a red card against Atletico and won Real Madrid the match. Winning mentality, no matter what the stakes. So, good point, DG. Look at Harry Kane. He was irrelevant for so long. Exactly. And I'm not saying just because Eddie's going to go on that, but what did Arsene Wenger used to say? What did he tell Ali Adia when I was with Ali Adia on Arsenal.com? I think he said like 27, 28 when strikers come into it. Now, Eddie's 23, bro. We ain't got 5 years to wait in it for maybe, in it. But strikers are not there, bro. A striker that's obviously at Chelsea stinking up the place, but had good memories for us. What was Aubameyang doing? He was on bare loans. He went Dortmund, and I think if I remember rightly, Aubameyang had a great loan spot at St. Etienne, and then he went Dortmund and he announced himself. Harry Kane, bro, man was on the bench at Leicester. He's one of the best Premier League wingers strikers they've ever seen now, you know, sort of thing. So I'm not saying Eddie's going to do that, but man, I'm not going to be the finished article. Yeah, you might get a couple. And normally when I say these sort of comments, there's always one person that goes, yeah, but what about this youngster and that youngster? Okay, cool. You can name 5 or 10 exceptions to the rule. As I said, exceptions out of the hundreds and thousands of young players, really and truly. Look at Marcus Rashford. He stagnated a bit. He bust you at 18. But he needs to improve a lot, and he doesn't look any evidently better than when he first came on the scene. Why? Because I don't think he's really improved the art and mastered the art of finishing, really. That's all Eddie needs to do, just master the art of thinking people. Just master the art of finishing, really and truly. I like Eddie still, but he needs to do a thing. Schema, you're on me, man. Man said random. Chat. Everyone's allowed an opinion, man. For me, give Eddie his chance, but if it becomes clear that, yo, it's not a this thing here, crazy. Really and truly. Keep it moving. Sangara would be decent. Not really good enough on the ball for me, but physically puts in a shift in the right positions. I'll take it. Bro, do you know what? I have to thank Gnabry and Wilshere for leaving, because if they didn't, I wouldn't be talking to you lot. You know, that was what kicked off the YouTube career. Really, Valverde a gem. Closest we ever got to signing him was in Montreal at Arsenal, and then he couldn't get a work permit. Maybe Arsene Wenger needed to know some dons at the Home Office, man. Shout out, Mac. I definitely love us to have more like-for-like players coming off the bench to keep the quality up and energy high. Get Champions League, we can start dreaming, man. You know, because when everyone is fit, like we saw at early parts of the season, some man might not even touch the bench, really. DG, this is the best news I've heard in a long time. SMS work being put in. That could be our best signing in a long time if we hit that one. If some buts, man. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, my guy. I don't really believe in our ability to get him in January. But yeah, how would you line up against PSV going all out for the win? A part of me wanted to do that. And a part of me still wants to do that. I won't lie. But I think everyone can evidently see, like, players are tired now, innit? Pardon me. Even if we stink up the place against PSV, which I don't want to be, you know, ego, I want to keep the winning run going, all of that jazz. But even if you lose to PSV, you should be able to get over the line against Zurich, and that qualifies us top, really. But I can understand, don't agree, but I can understand if Arteta kind of goes a bit heavy against PSV, and then the rest starts coming in with Zurich and them sort of teams there. So yeah, it is what it is, really. Keep your opinions coming. We'll get into the talking points of the papers in a bit, but I'm enjoying the chat a lot more than that, man. Once you get Champions League and the badge holds weight, once again, we'll see what owners are on. Amen. Shout out Hector, because you got nothing to do with Arsenal, but you're always here. Shout out the Twitch ones. Mitrovic up top, Jesus and Saka on the wing, Smith Rowe and Gabby as subs. That would add some depth and some flexibility. I mean, the player style of Mitrovic, I want that, because, you know, I would love for Arsenal to have the different, but the Mitrovic, the Ivan Toney, for me, Diego Costa. You know, someone that strike defenders don't like play. I'm not saying Jesus is a problem. He'll fight for everything, but, you know, Diego Costa in his prime, he's pulling your ear. He's whispering mad things in your ears. He's intimidating, man. Obviously, you get some players, because they're so good, man, are intimidated. Like Haaland is good anyways, and he gives it back. But people are just shook of Haaland because it's Haaland. Then you get people who are on the intimidation tactics, and I would like that. You know, I would like that in the squad, especially. Also, it helps us defensively as well. You know, there's games where against Leeds or even Southampton, where at times we struggle to get out. You get a physical man that can just knock it in. Like we saw Chris Wood come off the bench. I'm not saying by him, against Spurs when Newcastle were trying to hold on. Just knock it into his chest, win some fouls, protect the ball, get players higher up the field. You're a player that, you know, the Martinellis, the Sakas, these sort of guys can bounce it off, really play it in and keep it going. Giroud type would be lit as well. Unless you get someone better than Jesus, I don't really want another 5'8" sort of guy sort of thing. I want someone that's a bit of a problem. Tony believes in himself, can take a penalty as well. You know, he couldn't be, you know, doing some of them video things he's doing, saying F his football club if he was here. 105 likes, keep running it up, people. But yeah, man, it would be good. Someone of that profile. Speaking of profiles, I'd love a profile of Kovacic. Again, we spoke about midfield. Look how Kovacic, they went to a back four, but look how Kovacic got Chelsea in the game. United should be kicking themselves. They didn't win 4-5-1 in that first half, because really the game started when Kovacic came on. You see what someone that can dribble, someone that can win fouls, someone that can retain the ball properly in midfield. I like Xhaka, but he's not being asked to do that at this moment in time. He's been asked to do this Aaron Ramsey thing. I like Partey. I just think that I don't know how it would go, but we needed someone else in there. So yeah, man. Really, is João Felix worth the money if we pay? How much are they asking? Well, 100 million is a bit mad for all his potential. But yeah, man. Random, but best boot, Night Tiempo or Preds. Tiempos are way more comfortable. 10 posts for 5 aside. If I'm playing 11 aside, being a fullback, Pred still. Bro, that K guy looks like he can be a serious player, but you know, what a name. But I don't think we're gonna get him, bro. Can't lie, at some point this process has to progress to something. Amen. We're not just playing football for the sake of it. There's no good developing talents for the sake of it. You're right, man. What other things are there? What other things have I missed? Smash the like button if you haven't, people. Don't forget, hella watch alongs to come this week. We've got PSV Arsenal. That's that one posted. We've got Dortmund City today. That's from 5:30. Even if you're not going to be there, do me a favor and hit the like button. My loan report is to come out in 20 minutes, allegedly. And obviously Salzburg Chelsea. I just need to do the graphics for them and we're good, man. Big up DG. Do you think this is the best time to push for the title as clubs like United and Chelsea are still not quite stabilized? Win your games. Win as much games as you can. If you take advantage of what you need to take advantage of, then you're allowed to see what's going on elsewhere. It's whatever United and Chelsea and all these teams are doing is irrelevant. We've been doing our thing while there's still a lot of football to be played. If City mess up and we keep doing what we're doing, anything can happen. But for me, Champions League first. Let's pattern that. Let's start getting some consistencies in that. Then we can dream. Obviously, if City fall off a cliff and everyone else falls off a cliff and we win every game and we're top of the tree, I would love that. But it's irrelevant. I personally think City will finish some distance off Arsenal. It's not even 100% convinced. I'm not even, in a nice way, I'm not even 100% convinced we'll finish second. But what I would say is I don't care if it's second or fourth. I need to see Arsenal amongst that, really. So hopefully, hopefully every week things can stay like this. Arsenal don't get 3 points. It don't really affect what's going on. But yeah, man, is what it is in that regards. What else have we got? To be fair, Eddie's playing hardly real minutes and he doesn't have a goal in the Prem, but it's a bit deep, man. I don't know if Eddie would be doing what Jesus is doing, but I do think if he had however many starts Jesus has, he'd at least have a goal or two to his name. It's a bit harsh, but he doesn't. The only game off the top of my head should have bagged against Fulham, really. I'm not going to get onto him for playing out wide, but when he came on and changed the game against Fulham, he did his thing, and that's what a sub's meant to do, but he should have scored. He had a number of chances against Fulham, man. So, yeah. Eddie should start for Forest. Is he getting ahead 100% of Dennis and them kind of man? I don't know. You'd have to ask a Forest fan. We just got to keep grinding these results out till Jan. You can tell the squad's getting tired. If you can't see the progress whilst we're sitting top of the league, I'll wait for your eyes. Should go Specsavers, my G schema. What did I do? I said I can. DJ, if our B team had its own league, where would that team finish? It scares me to think how weak our second team is. Our second team, I don't know, but I ain't gonna win it. City's second team's running away with anything. Hate to sound Preds for me. I can't lie, iconic, hella iconic. Hate to sound like a broken record, but do you rate Osimhen from Napoli? Yeah, but he'll cost too much, really. And unless we're saying Jesus, it's an out wide thing. It is what it is. Saka didn't need starts for us to know he was going to be a good player in the future. It doesn't take long to know. Again, exception to the rule. You're 100% facts. But Saka is one of them guys like the Bellinghams, the madman at United who's now just got bail out of jail. Don't want to say his name, Pedri, Fatty, them kind. I'm not saying he's better than them or whatever, but they're exceptions to the rule. God has just said you man are being footballers. Smith Rowe needed a bit. Smith Rowe was in the same boat as Joe Willock and Eddie Nketiah. He went Huddersfield, he came back on crud. I'm not saying Eddie's going to be anything, but he got a chance towards the end of last year. He started showing something. So not everyone's going to do the Saka thing. I hear you. You don't need to see long. But still, man, not everyone's going to do that. Like I was saying earlier, it's an exception to versus the rule, actually. And it was very dangerous to be just expecting everyone to do the Saka thing because you'd lose out on a number of players. Look how long it took Ramsey to do something. Fofana at Leicester. Is there next Fofana at Leicester before he went to Chelsea? I'm not too sure on that one there, but Fofana from Lens is welcome. Eddie doesn't need starts. He needs minutes. We need to see 90 minutes. We didn't need to see 90 minutes to know Jesus was going to be the star he is for us. And I like Eddie. I want him to do well, but many Haylenders made wrong decisions. Ainsley, Willock, Akpom, and now have to learn on the job. Shout to Smith Rowe Saka for changing the narratives. I didn't say Savić is a DM. I hear that. Me and Eddie right now, if he could keep doing this thing, it is what it is. That assuming you're talking about Enzo Fernandez at Benfica, he looks quite decent, man. I hear you, Schema. He looks quite decent. I can't lie, I'm here for that. But when these kind of men end up at Benfica, you know there's a certain tariff. You know why these clubs buy these guys. Like, I do like Onana from Everton. I do like him, you know. Respectfully, I was watching him. I wouldn't mind that in the squad. But the one that I don't want to say his name because we can't go back in time now. But we all know Bruno Kamara should be at this football club. He's got everything. All action midfielder. He should be here. They're the kind of man I want. A Kovacic playing profile. Bruno Guimaraes, sorry, not Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Guimaraes playing sort of style. You know, someone that can be a target man. If you could bring in an experienced centre-back that's different from the guys in our team that are learning how to do them things there, I think we'd be all right, man. I ain't gonna lie, I would still monitor left and right backs and see what we could do. Shout out Matt Turner in goal, but I'd have to keep seeing stuff. 2 incidences, there seems to be 0 updates on the Partey legal issue. Listen, I can't speak on that. You know, I don't know what's going on with Partey and that. I don't know what's going on with the Henderson and Gabriel thing, man. I mean, no news. I have to assume is good news, but boy, I don't know. You're asking the wrong brother. I don't know, man. Any news on Zinchenko? I don't know with his injury. You think friendlies with top Serie A clubs make a difference? I don't know. Just we're gonna have to get some friendlies in general, really. Yeah, you need to start acting scuba, bro. I don't know, bro. I'm thinking, why am I catching all these trades? What did I do? Milinković-Savić is a world-class talent. I don't know about world-class, but he looks lit. Lucas Paqueta is still available. He's rocked up at West Ham, really. And we knew we was never getting them kind of dons. You knew we was never getting him because, you know, he's a bit of in terms of how he probably fit into Arsenal's team, he's going to fill Odegaard's boots or Fabio Vieira sort of profile. So it was never going to happen beyond admiration. I wouldn't want him in the Xhaka role, but I hear that, man. I don't know what Henderson said. Ndika looks like a steady Eddie. I'm here for it. He's better than Holding. He's a left-sided centre-half. He's 23. There's resale value there, and he ties in with what we have. Steady Eddie. So why not, man? Cut price as well. Yeah, bro, we just can't. And that's the thing, man. There has been signings there, but we when you sit on your hands for whatever reason, you hear the club admired Bruno Guimaraes, but it never happened. You know, we're going to have to move on from sitting on our hands with a couple of these players and actually get to work, really. Because sometimes, you know, who knows if we got our act together sooner for Douglas Luiz and Telemans and all these midfielders, Bruno Guimaraes, boy, we might be having several different conversations at the time. So yeah, man, we should give Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka new contracts and sign Bellingham. I'd love to, but Bellingham's bread, bro. DJ, I would make a bid for Brighton's Calcedo. He looks lit, but he's still 20 though. So are we over? And this is probably me for myself. Are we gassing him a bit? Like, has he really done much there? His quality though, I'm having him. But again, respectfully to Brighton, like with Ben White and anyone that joins any top 6 club, everything you do is going to be more highlighted now. I'm here for it, though. We could do a lot worse. But again, them kind of man there, when he was going to Brighton, another club that was linked with him, the only way I found out about him and the fact that he's from Ecuador is because I remember looking on Google. It said, at the time, knew nothing about the guy, but it said Man United and Brighton wanted him, and Antonio Valencia was trying to chat to him to get him to go to United. They didn't do it. We need to be on that sort of thing, really. Oh, Nana looks lit, man. DG go on Football Terrace one day, my bro. Why not? Bellingham would cost 100 million plus Lokonga. They might say he allowed the Lokonga thing, man. we'll take 90 if you forget the Lokonga shout. But big up Lokonga, he doesn't deserve that stray, man. We do need backups for Partey and Saka, all guys that are levels or better. In the same way, you know, if you're a left back at Arsenal, whether Tierney's got the spot, Tomiyasu's got the spot, Zinchenko's got the spot, there's 2 players breathing down your neck for anyone. If you're Ben White or Tomiyasu if you're Ben White, you know Tomiyasu might step in there. Even if you're a centre-back, low-key, Tomiyasu might finesse your spot at Arsenal. Plays left-sided centre-back for Japan. Obviously, he's right foot. He can play on the right-hand side. You've got Ben White that can move over. We need them problems over them sides. You know, if you look at the front options, well, generally in our squad, I think only Xhaka, Saka, and Ramsdale are the ones that are playing every week beyond the obvious. But if you look at our squad, especially up front, you know, you could say Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe could trouble Odegaard. Maybe if Smith Rowe was fit, Odegaard might even touch bench. But left hand side is probably open season. You've seen Smith Rowe lock it down. You've seen Martinelli lock it down. That's probably the only one, really and truly. You need to bring someone that's better than that. Right wing Saka's playing, so unless you're bringing in, and if you can bring in someone that complements, fair enough. But you would like someone better. I'd give whatever they want for Bellingham, but bro, you could give Bellingham an elite project, give the P's. You're fighting Real Madrid and City and all these teams. I can't begrudge him. You know, he's already kind of done the Arsenal thing at Dortmund, a young squad with not too much expectations and that. Bring Milinković 8 and Sangare 6. We can beat anyone in front of us. What's your opinion on Trossard? Would be decent, but he said he don't want to sit on the bench at his next club. Yeah, I have got FM23. You was with Green Red. Was you there? We was playing it yesterday. Still, it's just, in fact, the first episodes on my YouTube channel, the first 2 streams we've done are still on Twitch, and the others are uploaded on my YouTube channel, but I ain't put them out yet. Savić and Xhaka in the same team. Albania versus Serbia thing is a bit sticky. Listen, I don't want to get into the geopolitics. I just hope that it's a football thing first, but it is something to consider. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Deluded Gooner 04. Make sure you're following on Apple Music or Spotify. People, the streams technically go there. I don't rate Ndidi not enough. I don't think he's good enough on the ball to be at Arsenal. Again, we've got no one in the squad, so by default, I'd take him, but I would stay clear of Ndidi. And I like him, but I like my club more in it. I'm not on the Ndidi thing at all, really. I'm not going to praise a midfielder for running about either. I'm not really on that. I can't lie to you. I'm not really on it at all. I don't think he'll be good enough, really, especially as, you know, being at Arsenal, he's going to be the deepest of midfielders, and he's shown time and time again. I'm sure a couple months ago against Spurs, he's a bit blinkered, you know. He's probably worse than Lokonga at receiving the ball and turning and things. He has these lapses in concentration. I'm exaggerating with that. Vardy off the bench, it's over for Vardy, man. Kante and Naby Keita, injury prone. Naby Keita, you know, I was on to him before he went to Liverpool. I would have taken him, but again, good player, can't stay fit. What's the point? And I don't really I don't even buy the Kante or Naby Keita links, because we all know it could be true, but these guys, their contracts are running up. And even if you type in Naby Keita today, you see him linked with not just us, but Milan now, Chelsea, all these things. So again, because of our need for a midfielder and these sort of things, I don't know the credibility of these. Totally forgot Phillips went City, wanted him at Arsenal at one point. Crazy. Again, Keita and Kante, they can't stay fit, so it's a myth, man. I think the fan base can feel Eddie isn't good coming off the bench, but he isn't better than Gabriel Jesus, hence the discontent. Limstrong or Trossard. Well, I more know what I'm getting with Trossard in it, but there's more years in the tank where Limstrong's concerned, assuming you're talking about the Frankfurt brother. Jimenez, nah, I would take Gundogan. I would for a couple of years. I would take Gundogan. I think Gundogan be respectfully to Arteta and Arsenal, you know, having won what you won at City, 31 years of age. If you want to waste the last couple of years, you got this rebuild thing at Arsenal, fair enough. I would, you know, I'd have him for that. But I think you deserve the right. Go play in Turkey or go and, you know, see what you could do in it, really. But Gundogan is one I'd be onto, man. If we ever could in it, bring Gundogan tomorrow still. Again, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, as we say. Yeah, if we could pay a small fee to get Telemans tomorrow for January, yeah, why not? We need bodies, bro. But maybe the club want to do the cheapskate thing and that, see his deal run out and then do something really and truly. I don't know, really. But I just want to see a centre mid. I don't know who. Just get a centre mid, man. If you could 2, if I could 3, but let's just get 1 minimum in